Right, this is a bit of a tricky one today, but it's something we need to practice. So we're going to simplify algebraic fractions. So I'll go through a few examples and then have a go at as many questions as you can on the worksheet that's attached. There are solutions, so you can work through them, looking at the solutions as well. Okay, when we're simplifying algebraic fractions, we have to consider it as things being multiplied together on the numerator and things being multiplied together on the denominator. Just like we would with a normal fraction, we need to cancel out like terms. So let's have a look at example one. I've got y minus 2 all squared. Well, that's the same as saying y minus 2 times y minus 2. And then I'm dividing it through by y minus 2. I'll put it in brackets just to make my life a bit easier. So I can cancel out, because these are multiplied. If there was a plus in between, it doesn't really work like that. But because they're multiplied together, I can cancel out with one that's being multiplied on the bottom. So I'm going to cancel out y minus 2, cancel out y minus 2. I put 1 in replacement. So I'm left with y minus 2 times 1, which is y minus 2, divided through by 1. Well, y minus 2 divided by 1 is just y minus 2. So that is your answer. So simplified. So looking at example 2, this time they've given me it slightly different. They haven't given it to me in bracket terms, but what I notice about the numerator is that this is a squared term, x squared is squared, and 64 is a squared term. It's 8 times 8. So it's the difference of two squares. So we can write this as x plus 8, x minus 8. And we're going to divide through by x plus 8. So I can now cancel out like terms, x plus 8 and x plus 8, putting a 1 in replacement. So it's 1 lot of x minus 8, which is x minus 8, divided through by 1, which is just x minus 8 on its own. Okay. So they do get a bit trickier, but, pick and choose your battles. If there's something that you're okay with, then maybe you don't need to practice too many of them. But if there's a particular one that you need to practice, that's the one you should be doing. Okay. So example 3, again, this numerator is the difference of two squares. 4 is a squared number, y squared is squared, and 1 is a squared number. So the square root of 4y squared is 2y, because 2y times 2y is 4y squared. Square root of 1 is 1, so we've got 2y plus 1, 2y minus 1. And then on your denominator, we've got 2y minus 1. So again, I'm looking to factorise, put it into brackets, so everything's being multiplied on the top, everything's being multiplied on the bottom. So I can cancel out like terms, and I get left with, let's put a 1 there, just so we know what we're multiplying by, 2y plus 1. Okay, next one, example 4. It's a little bit more involved, but not that bad. So I'm looking to factorise the numerator and factorise the denominator. So I'm looking for x and two numbers, x and two numbers. So I want the numbers that multiply to make minus 18. Let's do that over here, minus 18. We've got 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, 4 and 5 don't go into 18. Then we're back to 6 again, but we've already used that. So they need to multiply to make minus 18, but add together to make plus 7. So one's got to be positive and one's got to be negative to multiply to make a negative. And they've got to have a difference of 7. So it's going to be, the positive one needs to be bigger as well. So it's going to be plus 9 minus 2. They're your two numbers that go in your bracket. On the denominator, what have we got? We've got difference of two squares again. We've got x squared and 81. So it's going to be x minus 8, x plus 8. Oh, sorry, 9 even. Okay, now we can cancel out the like terms, which is x plus 9. Put a 1 there and 1 there. And then all we're left with is 1 lot of x minus 2 and 1 lot of x minus 9. And that's your answer. Okay, right, one final example. This one is a little bit more involved, but it's not too bad. So what have we got? We've got 6x squared plus minus 5x minus 21 divided through by 2x squared plus x minus 3. So I need to simplify this algebraic fractions. I've got two quadratics and I need to factorize them both. Okay, so let's start with 6x squared minus 5x minus 21. To factorize the numerator, because there's a number in front of x squared, we need to multiply the 6 and the minus 21 to get minus 126. So now what I'm looking for is numbers that multiply to make the minus 126, but add together to make minus 5. Okay, so let's have a look at the multiples of that. So that's what we got. We got 1 and 126. We got 2 and 63. 3 and 42, 6 and 21, 7 and 18, and we got 9 and minus 14. And I think that is pretty much it. 10, 11, 12, 13, no, and then we're back to 14 as well. So we're looking for two numbers multiplied to make a minus 126, but add together to make a minus 5. So the bigger number's always going to have to be negative. And then which of these add together to make minus 5? Well, that's the 9 and the 14. Okay. So we take the 6x bit and we do plus 9. We take the 6x bit and we do minus 14. But we want to divide through by a factor of 6 because we've got an extra factor of 6 going on. 6 can't go into either bracket, so we're going to break the 6 up into 3 times 2. 3 goes into the first bracket and we get 2x plus 3. 2 goes into the second bracket and we get 3x minus 7. So the numerator can be written as these two brackets. So now let's do the denominator, okay? So we do 2 times minus 3 equals minus 6. Numbers that multiply to make minus 6, but add together to make the 1x, okay? That's a plus 1x. So you've got 1 and 6, 2 and 3. It's a plus 1x, so the bigger number must be positive. And these two, minus 2 and plus 3, will add together to make the plus 1x. So we take the 2x bit and we do minus 2, and we take the 2x bit and then add 3. Don't forget to divide through because we've got two lots of 2 going on and we only want one lot, so we divide it through by 2. So this 2 can go nicely into this first bracket, so we're left with x minus 1, 2x plus 3. So that's me factorising the numerator and the denominator, and I've got two different sets of brackets now that I can rewrite it as. So what we've got is 2x plus 3, 3x minus 7, divided through by x minus 1, 2x plus 3. And because these are being multiplied, we can now cancel out a common bracket. And we're left with 3x minus 7 divided through by x minus 1. And that is you simplifying that algebraic fraction. Right, have a go at as many as you can. If you can do these ones, then you're pretty much secure. If you can do the difference of two squares ones as well, then you're doing pretty well. Okay, do your best. This is like a consolidation kind of lesson, but it's something we have to cover this term. So we've kind of melded it into one, really. So next lesson we will do the difference, completing the square. But yeah, do your best, have a go, and I'll speak to you soon.